Hi, Jane and
Hi
Jaya.
there.
Hello.
Hi, Jaya.
Hello. Hello.
And Ryan, thank you for dialing in.
Yep, no worries. Thanks.
So Ryan, was the Jane that you mentioned our Jane or another Jane?
It was Jane.
Oh, Jane. So Jane, Ryan sent us an email about the recycling shell program they're doing at the Shellfish Marketplace.
Oh,
And
great.
about what the Nauset High School Green Team has been doing. And so we invited him to tell us more about it. It sounded pretty cool.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
good, good, good.
Is he with us now? I just see that
He
I see a
is,
big
yes.
R, but not a face.
That's because he doesn't have his video on, but that's okay. And he's
Well,
muted.
He could hit the button.
He could.
It took me about 18 months to figure that out.
Yeah, I will when it's time.
Yeah.
So
You're talking about the shellfish market on the pier on Saturdays.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, wonderful. I love those guys.
I really wonder what people know about the people that are selling from their truck on Thursdays, I think, in Wellfleet. They're at Old Wharf
Oh, at Pleasant Point?
here. Yes, thank you, that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah, does anyone know who they are, where they're from, located?
Well, I can't remember. It might be Pleasant Point is the name of the company. I'm not sure, but I have several neighbors that buy from them. You order online, they send you the list every week, and I think the pickup is on Saturday. I'm not sure when the pickup day is.
Is that
Yeah.
all kinds of fish or just shellfish?
I think they pick up different kinds of stuff.
I ordered once, yeah. I wanted to try and a friend picked it up.
Okay.
Mhm.
I ordered onto, but yes, Jane, to answer you, they do have fish.
Good.
It's all white fish right now, except for farmed salmon from the Atlantic, the North Atlantic.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned they had shrimp too, which obviously is not.
Oh,
from
yes.
here, but-
Our
Nothing
friend
local
got-
about that.
No, and often it comes all the way from Asia. And they have, I looked into them, that industry, personally, I wouldn't support. I do not buy any shrimp currently. Yeah, I haven't found really good things about it, so anyway.
Yeah. Let me just get others admitted here.
Well, if it's shrimp, we know it's not local, don't we? So
Yes, we do.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've been
Yeah, I
calling
am.
for shrimpies up here.
there's actually local shrimp.
Is there really,
comes
right?
out- yeah, it comes out of Maine. Normally they're smaller.
oh,
Usually
okay.
the season for those is in the fall.
Okay.
Ah.
That's good to know.
Okay, so it's the middle of winter, I wonder, I could ask them, maybe write to them, where does your shrimp come from? Yeah, thanks, Ryan, I didn't know that at all,
No, me neither.
thank you.
So I think we have a full contingent here now. Make sure nobody's, oops, there's Mike. Let me admit him.
And Tom, I see Tom's face.
Yes, so I think we can get started. We have Jane, Jaya, Nancy, Lydia, and we have Tom, Ryan, and Mike as guests. So it is, now is anybody willing to take minutes today? The usual silence.
No, Lydia waved at you.
Oh, she did? Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you, Lydia. Okay, so we're starting at 11:01. And we do have some introductions and announcements. I think Ryan falls into that category since the communication with him was just yesterday. Lydia, would you like to introduce that topic? Introduce why Ryan is here?
Sure, sorry, I was unmuted. I have some tree work going on, so I don't know if you can hear background noise or not.
It's okay.
I guess not. So Ryan Curley, select board member, sent us an email yesterday about a program that Nauset Green Club students, Nauset High School Green Club students are doing at the Shellfisherman's Market at the pier. And they're collecting shell and recycling the shell, as well as I think they're called onion bags that they come in, they're cleaning those. What's happening is they're getting cleaned and reused. So Ryan, we really are grateful that you sent that to us. We'd love to hear more about it, and maybe you'd like to say something about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's basically, so we were, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not the best at this sometimes. Basically, you know, we had it was after like our second week of the market. We decided that we would add bag recycling and shell recycling. It took us another week to get everything squared away on our end. And then so basically all that market goers have to do is that they put the shells back in the bags that they bought them in when they were whole shellfish, bring them back to us, and we sort out, and then the Green Club largely collects them as they enter the market. The Green Club also actually explains the program to every new market goer, so that we get the education across that we're doing it. And then you know, the bags are sorted out, and the shells, you know, the bags and shells are separated, and the shells are being seasoned by the Wellfleet Shellfish Department and will be used for future culture for shellfish propagation. And the bags are being cleaned and sanitized right now at Holbrook Oyster, and they'll be distributed to the shellfishmen for free. So yeah, we just decided, you know, to do it, and we've been pretty successful so far. We also communicated in our newsletter and our confirmation emails as well as social media posts. But I really think that the majority of the education on it is being done by the Nauset Green Club, who greet everybody that comes into the market, and explains how the program works and what we'll be doing with them. So that's basically, yeah, that covers it. So thank you.
Yes.
So Ryan, who did the Green Club offer to do it, or how did it get going?
So the Green Club had approached Nancy about volunteering at the market.
Oh,
And, you know, one of the things that is really hard for high schoolers right now is a lot of their regular volunteering opportunities aren't happening. As well as they were excited by the market, and I think a lot of other people are as well. So they approached Nancy about volunteering, and you know, we also do a lot of education for the market. When people come, we'll distribute recipes on what they can do with the shellfish once they get them at home, that kind of stuff. So you know, we weren't really sure how many would be volunteering, but as soon as we saw that it could be, you know, a decent number of people. I think the last market was, or not the last market, the market before was around I think 6 or 7 of them. I don't have a list of all their names. Nancy's been the primary contact with all of them, but with that many people, we were allowed to really do this this extent of an outreach. Yeah, they were looking for volunteering opportunities, and yeah, they've been extremely helpful so far.
That's
Have,
great. Thank you very much for telling us about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry I missed the beginning of this. I actually went to the Shellfish Market on Saturday and was so impressed when they said we could bring these back. I was thinking about doing an Instagram post about it.
Good, good.
So I will definitely do that from our account.
Ryan, I'll forward the email that Ryan sent, or Lydia will. It has lots of nice pictures of them, of the high schoolers
Okay.
doing what they do. So,
Okay.
oh, of course you can't put that in. Never mind.
Yeah,
You
but
can't
I
put up
can call
students.
this out. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a quick question, Ryan. I know about, the shells seasoned, but what can we do when we have like, a smaller amount of shells? How is it best to handle the shells? Can I just walk them to the beach where I got them and throw them in? Is it better to keep them a while? What is?
No, don't bring them, especially if they're not from Wellfleet. Don't bring them to.
Yeah, I get them right near where I live. I go maybe once a month and get a few oysters.
So, I mean, those aren't going to introduce any pathogens, but there's still a bunch of DEP requirements that have to be met before they can be
No.
added back in. The Mike's on here, and they actually do a shell recycling program at the transfer station. In the past, those shells haven't, I guess, haven't been able to be used for culch, but I think we've been trying to figure out a way to get them to be used for that. So, yeah, so you can bring them to the transfer station. You have a shell recycling program there.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
are there other towns that are replicating this shellfish market?
There's a couple towns that are interested in replicating it. We'll see if they do or not. Nobody's currently doing it. We're actually the first one in Massachusetts that has ever been permitted for this at all. Yeah, but there's I think Barnstable and Bourne are interested in doing it, and I don't know about other towns that might be offering.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great.
Thanks very much, Ryan. It's a great program.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So another announcement, Nancy, are you official? Have you been sworn in?
I've been sworn in, and I just dropped off my ethics training and open meeting training form. So
Excellent. Well, that's our announcement. Welcome, Nancy, as a full-time
Welcome.
member of the recycling
Thank you.
committee. Yay. Anybody else have anything? Thank you.
Well,
Tom.
should we mark a loss of Kate Myers, our former treasurer secretary?
Please do. I didn't realize she had been on the recycling committee.
Yeah, she worked
Well, yes, she certainly was.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
she was both treasurer and secretary
for many years.
Long time.
for many, many years. Yes, yes. What a great lady.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you for joining us to our agenda start. Well, why don't we start with Mike, transfer station, and then we'll get to you, Tom.
Thank you, Christine. Good morning, everybody. Just back to Ryan's point about the shellfish shells. Yes, we do have a recycled shell pile at the transfer station. It's over toward the library shed. Generally, they don't go back into the harbor because I've found over the years, there's not a lot of trash, but there's enough trash sometimes within there that we don't want to put them back in the harbor. But if the pile looks good, I will put them down below for later, or I use them on the dirt roads around the transfer station. So you can definitely bring the shells there and they'll be put to use one way or another. As far as the transfer station update, we've gone back to dual stream on January 15th. And I have to say that I'm like completely shocked at how well that has gone. So thank you everybody for the cooperation, reading the signs, being nice to each other, staying 6 feet apart. And it's going to save us a ton of money. So thank you very much.
Good, very good. Excellent.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, Carol from the Energy Committee couldn't be here, but she sent a question. She forwarded something about Cambridge getting down to 4% contamination rate and said, what do we do? And I explained that we don't do curbside, so you can't really monitor it. But is there ever any monitoring done at any level or sampling?
So right now, we have someone hauling away our recycling. So it's not me that actually sees what the container looks like when it gets dumped on the ground, but I have inquired in the past. We were actually looking at a small grant just for some signage from the DEP. And the criteria to get the grant was you had to prove that you had higher than 10% contamination. And so I talked to some of the drivers and I said, next time you dump these things out, can you just give me a rough estimate? What does it look like in the cans? Do you think we have more than 10%? And he said, no, I don't think you've got 10% contamination. So we've been doing really, really well with that. Dual stream obviously is less contaminated than single stream just for a bunch of different reasons. But so now that we're back to dual stream, I would say Wellfleet's in really good shape as far as contamination, but it's something I'd like to look into a little deeper to get a better number.
I imagine there's, samples you can do to sort of get semi-official kind of things.
Yeah. There's definitely things that are out there that people have done. You can replicate. It's pretty simple if you like rifling around through trash. But I'll get to that at some point here. But overall, hopefully it's a very green town, and they want to recycle.
Maybe we can get the Green Club interested in.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, I also have another announcement. So I received an offer from Gretchen Carey, president of Mass Recycle, and she works for Republic Services, and she does presentations on recycling. And she offered to give the Wellfleet Forum her presentation on recycling if we were so interested. So I said I would pass that along. She's the recycling coordinator for Massachusetts at Republic Services.
Okay.
Could you pass on her contact info to Lydia?
Yeah, I'll email that to her, and she's the president of Mass Recycle, and I'm on the board, so I direct her as well. So
okay.
I think it was them that sent out a really interesting email on the successes of aluminum can recycling. Was that just the other day? I'll have to look at that.
I thought that was Recycle Smart, but maybe not.
There's a lot of them. Works, Resource Recycle, there's,
And is there a mass recycling also, or just a mass recycle?
I don't know about Mass Recycling. Mass Recycle is the organization that I'm a part of.
Right. And then Mass Works or Recycle Works, that's a private, that's a company.
Like Works, and I believe there's Recycling Works, and they put out an email, I believe.
Okay. Confusing words. Confusing world. Anything for Mike? Thank you, Mike, for joining us. We always appreciate you staying, but understand you're busy.
You're very welcome. Yeah, have a good day, everyone. And if you ever have any questions, you know where to find me.
Thanks very much.
We know where you live.
Yes. Or where you work anyway.
Thank you.
We can hop down to plastic reduction and Tom and Lydia.
Or the aquaculture.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, I think, Lydia, let me just jump in here. I think all of you know, Lydia sent a note around about we did not get selected for the grant that Lydia, Christine, and myself were working on. Really was a technicality. The reason we didn't get it, really, they wanted focus on a nonprofit organization. In the meantime, Lydia forwarded a note to Ryan. Ryan forwarded a note to Ginny Parker, who is the president of the Wellfleet Shellfish Association. Ginny and I have been close on a couple things that we've been working on. And anyway, I briefed her the other day, and she's all for this. So what the game plan is, after we lost on a technicality, I reached out to Kerry Parcell in Barnstable County. And, without getting too formal, they were very happy with our application. They like the process, they like the detailed work. She will let us know. They'll come out with a couple of the same grant in 2021. And she'll give us a heads up. And we're just gonna dust it off and get the Wellfleet Shellfish Association to support it. And we'll start the process again. That's the good news for 2021.
How will that affect the implementation plan, prior to the high season?
I think if it comes out before March and we get an announcement, I think we'll be okay. We want to stay away from the shellfish grant owners in July, August, September. And I think if we get it announced in March, I got 5 or 6 of the individuals already signed up. We said we'd do 10. Finding 4 more, I don't think is going to be a problem. So if we get that, we'll have the education out. Yes, we've basically been educating a lot of people in the meantime anyway. And then, basically our process, what we said was most of the majority of the work after we distribute the bungee cords will be after Oyster Fest in October, November, before we have to report back to Barnstable County. So I think we'll be fine, Christine.
Okay.
The one of the interns, Ross, he's working for one of the grant owners, so he's going to be with us, I believe, again in 2021 for the summer. So he's still gung ho on this, so he'll be involved. He'll be the one doing most of the interviews anyway, because he's out there.
Right.
So, Lydia, anything to add?
I think we should always be looking out for other grants as well. I mean, the Mass DP grant is I think it's a really good grant to apply for. But there are probably other grants out there we should be looking at from time to time.
It's too bad.
I agree.
The care for the Cape and Islands, that was that at the end of the year they closed? I wonder if they make any exceptions.
Well, there's time. It's not, I mean, we'd love to get it done sooner the better, but
Mhm.
there's also something to think about for the next few months.
Right.
I think the Mass DP one, was that the $10,000 one, Lydia?
No, it's, I think it was up to, was it 7,500?
All right. There's one that we did talk to SPAT and both Nancy and Michelle. They wanted to support the Mass, I thought it was Mass DP for the 10,000 when that was coming out April, May timeframe.
That's the SMRP, they call it, Sustainable Materials Recovery Program. And that is a municipal grant, where you wouldn't partner with a nonprofit necessarily.
Mhm.
And that one is much more money.
Yeah.
So the one
And
we
is
applied
that
for
go ahead.
is more of, for the pilot program. And working with a nonprofit, I think, is a good thing, especially the Shellfishermen's Association.
Is the SMRF, that's separate than the RDP points, right, Lydia?
I believe it is.
Okay.
We'll be professional grant writers in a year or so.
Indeed. Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Tom, for coming and briefing us.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we'll go back to the commercial water bottle ban outreach plan. I think, Lydia, you got a list of businesses, is that right?
Well, I requested it from the principal clerk, but we don't have it in hand yet. There is,
Okay.
through the Chamber of Commerce, they have a pretty good direct business directory there. So we could put a list together ourselves. However, it would be ideal to have the list from the town. So
Okay.
I can write to her again, see if there's been any progress. I have one from 2017,
Hmm.
but that's kind of our old history now.
Right. My action items were to reach out to other towns. And I sent an email to Madhavi with sustainable practices. And I also reached out directly to Gary Senegal, who's in Eastham. And he's fairly new to the Eastham Recycling Committee, and he was very excited about the prospect of working with other towns. So I'm waiting to hear back from Madhavi. She wanted to contact P-Town and Orleans liaisons for sustainable practices first to talk to them about it, and then get me in touch with them. And I mentioned it to Marcia Sexton, who's a member of the chamber. And she is happy to be our sort of consultant soundboard. And she asked if we would be collaborating with all of the towns in terms of getting this information out. I said that our plan was maybe to go through chambers. We certainly could make available whatever we come up with to other towns if it's general enough, or and there are 7 towns. I always thought they were 8, but it was a misprint. There are 7 towns that have passed it, and the rest of the towns will have it on the warrant this year. So everywhere that it's been voted on, it has passed.
And Wellfleets goes into effect September 1st.
Yeah.
So in terms of people buying water bottles for the summer, probably be good to get some information out to them so they don't make those purchases or just use up, I don't know what they have, or
Yeah, it'd be nice to get something to them around the time frame, which I guess is March-ish, when they start stocking up, making orders and things.
I noticed that Snowy Owl coffee makers, they use an aluminum can for cold brew coffee that probably would have been in plastic or glass before. So a lot of people are using, local companies are successfully using aluminum.
And what did you say they're using aluminum for?
It's a cold brew coffee, Snowy
for cold
Owl.
brew. Okay, right.
If we want to send a letter out to businesses, letting them know about this, if I can have all the information, I'd be happy to put something together, something that we can get out to them.
Okay. What I can start with is just getting to you all the materials that we put together for like flyers and the forum and various, just so you have that, and also things from sustainable practices.
Mhm.
And then the next thing is to get some, or one of the things was to get some pricing of different options, just so they can get an idea of what the costs would be. Marcia did mention that it's very unlikely that businesses are looking for any kind of investment. They're pretty strapped this year, so but providing, and I don't know if people, whatever. Anyway, so that's another thing, and I can work on some of that because I did some of that already.
I had an idea about branding, for instance. Say they're going to buy some water in aluminum cans or in glass bottles, and we could produce, or the whole, Outer Cape community could produce a hang tag that would go on it that would say, you know, this, we're now using glass or aluminum to cut down on plastic pollution. And it could have, you know, a nice logo or something, just an
Mhm.
information thing that could go on each bottle. That way they wouldn't have to put out a lot of money to have their own labels done by the manufacturer or the bottler. And
And do you mean just with information about why they're providing things in aluminum?
yep, and maybe it could be a sticker, it could be a hang tag.
Yeah, I was thinking a
So-
sticker might be better for both bottles and cans.
Mhm.
That would be kind of interesting.
As long as it can hold up if it goes in a cooler for sale.
Right.
You know, sometimes it can, but I think a sticker is a good idea rather than one more thing in the action of applying an external thing. Sticker's probably easiest.
That's something that
Yeah.
this group could design or, and then produce and offer to the businesses if they wanted.
And Lydia, did you mean for single-use things or for reusables?
I think for single use, for things like, you know, seltzer water in a glass bottle. I don't know if there's so much, I guess there's still water in glass bottles. There's the still water and the carbonated water in the aluminum cans and screw top bottles that we saw a couple summers ago. So,
Right, that's the open water.
yeah.
I still have some in my basement.
Good.
That was another thing is samples. We could try to get samples from different companies that we can't have anything in person, but so it's a little hard to do. But at least have something that we could take pictures of and give information about.
I have a question and a thought about the idea of saying on the can or the bottle, why. The business is purchasing that or we give it to them because we pay for it. They actually have to take work time from their workers to apply these. And has anyone thought about that aspect of it? Would they even be willing to take one of their workers for half an hour or whatever it takes to do this? That's another leg of the whole thing, I think, to consider.
Well, signage might be an alternative, something common that we can give to people. One of the thing that somebody that I was walking in a walking group that tend to generally be business owners. And one of them who owns a motel says, well, when does that go into effect? Because I should probably let visitors know that they can't go into Stop and Shop in Orleans and buy plastic water bottles. But I mentioned that there are alternatives, but she said it might be something to give people a heads up. And I thought maybe we could design some kind of a little graphic, something that they could stick into information they send, businesses send, you know, explaining the situation. So maybe it's a similar thing as to what you were thinking of including in a tag, Lydia.
Yeah.
Could be a little business card. Those are really inexpensive to print
Mhm.
and easy to drop into another folder or something.
Right.
So for people's vacation lists, they put on their reusable water bottles, like at the top of their list, which
Right.
they might not have done in the past.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Who maintains
Anyway.
our website?
Lydia does.
Lydia?
I don't know enough about it.
Sorry.
I'm wondering if it would be possible to have some of these resources available for people to download on the website.
Mhm.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Especially I'm thinking, you know, for people who want to either use this if they're mailing things out to renters or, you know, anyone else, or putting it on their own website. It might be a good thing just to have different versions of it that are available.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking, something digital.
Yeah.
Rather than, okay, well, those are some great ideas. Any, oh, another issue that I'd heard about from businesses is that people like charters, when people take people out on a charter, what are some recommendations for them? So there are different kinds of businesses that we may want to address solutions for. And also this second home market, I mean, rentals. Sometimes they'll put out a little welcome thing with some water bottles or, so like you said, Chris, having like graphics for different sectors of businesses would be really cool.
Yeah, it might be just interesting to have a whole series of resources for people that are available on our website.
Yeah.
You know, I think, had we talked before about, I don't know if I talked about this with this group or if I talked about it with a rental association that I'm part of, about coming up with some type of cards that talk about recycling for renters.
Mhm.
So something like that.
We've had those in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
I know this past fall I went up to Vermont and stayed at an Airbnb up there, and I was so impressed that they had all of these cards about exactly what goes in each of these 4 bins that they had.
Yeah.
You know, and it really got me thinking about like what I could do in our rental property to get people to recycle better.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
still have the Recycle Smart and they cards as well.
Hmm.
Quite a few of those left.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a lot of those since we haven't been putting them out in public spaces.
Mhm.
Those are available to the rental properties if they want them.
Mhm.
I think we actually even put them at the sticker shack at the harbor. Yeah, that's one place we put them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Of course, I put them in my B&B, but it's small outfits. And
Mhm.
they're quite fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how different it will be this year in terms of people being in person in places. I mean, obviously, I guess the Beach Shack was going last year. Or was it all by mail? I can't remember.
I think it was by May.
I think they
Yeah.
kept changing it throughout the season.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw people lining up every morning for the fire permits. Like in my morning walk, there were always people
Hmm.
there.
Yeah. Okay, well, all good thoughts, and everyone keep thinking, and I'll send a bunch of stuff out that, or actually what I'll probably do is put it onto we have a Google Doc, we have Google Docs for our Wellfleet Recycles Gmail address. So maybe, of course, then you have to have the well, Chris, I'll load them up there and then give you the login for Gmail so that you can get to the Google Docs site. So I'll just put all the graphics and bottle stuff that I've collected and put it on that, okay? All righty, anything else on bottle outreach? Next thing is annual report. We submitted yesterday, so that's a done deal. And just wanted to thank everybody for everything we accomplished in challenging circumstances last year.
You guys did a lot. That was great to read. Coming in new to see what you've been doing.
A lot of it was curtailed. I it sure would be exciting if we could get that swap shop petitioned article on the town warrant. Lydia, I wonder if that's something that we could start talking to the DPW about soon. Isn't the town meeting going to be April or so?
Maybe
This year?
Ryan
Hmm?
knows.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure of the date. It's usually in April,
Right.
the annual town meeting.
If
There
it's
was
that,
one that
yeah.
September 12th was the last one, so I don't know. I can look it up again for sure and talk to Roland Blair, who was the coordinator for the swap shop volunteers.
Mhm. Okay,
DPW. Yeah, maybe there should be a meeting just to see progress report.
I know Roland's very anxious to get that going again.
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah.
I could reach out to DPW. Do you want to do that, Lydia, or you want me to do it?
Either way, you know, I can write to Roland if you want to write to Mike.
Yeah, that sounds good. Next up topic is Black Earth compost, whether outreach, pickup, thoughts on what we want to do. Anybody have anything?
Do they have any printed materials or things that they could give to us?
There's on their website, well, they have their price sheet, which I looked up from the meeting that he was on. It was $99 for 6 months, which is like $3.70 a week, something like that. And I'm not sure if that's for one pickup. But yeah, there's a lot of information on the website.
I wonder if trying to talk to some neighborhood associations and groups that are kind of, you know, densely populated, where they could get together and subscribe as a neighborhood. A lot of there's people that, you know, go to the transfer station. Like I take my compostables to the transfer station and use the wheeled cart there.
Mhm.
But there are people that have, you know, subscription trash pickup that may also go to the transfer station with their compost, or there's probably lots of people that don't separate it out or have their own compost pile or bin. Maybe just trying to figure out if there's interest. There's some of the, for instance, in neighborhood associations like the Wellfleet National Seashore Neighborhood Association, maybe that group would be interested. Think about your own neighbors and on your street. If there's friends, you know, like-minded people that might want to subscribe, because the more people that do, the cost goes down. And I really think it would be great to have a sample bin that we could put on display somewhere so people can visualize what it's like. Because if everything's online, it does it gets a little hard sometimes. And that might be a good thing to do. I don't know where it could be displayed. Like, could it be displayed at the transfer station, or would that be too much like advertising this, you know, this commercial business?
I think it probably would.
Yeah, I'd have to do it somewhere else, or maybe make an announcement at a select board meeting or something to say that this is available. It's really great for commercial businesses, because right now all of their food waste is getting just, you know, landfill or incinerated,
Yeah.
except for some that have their own compost operations.
Yeah, I think outreach to businesses would maybe even be a better place to start, although that's seasonal, so.
Mhm.
for a lot
What
of
if-
them.
What if,
About
what if
school,
we
too.
include, oh, sorry. What if we included a little thing along with the note to businesses about the plastic water bottles
Mhm.
that just
Mhm.
mentioned this as well? It might be a good way to get both things out at once.
Maybe a business card.
Yeah,
They could drop include a business card for that too, for Black Earth.
yeah, with just a short description.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where are they located? I don't remember. Where's their business located?
Manchester on the Sea, so
Right.
they started on the North Shore, but I think they have routes a lot in Boston, like Lydia, you said Newton.
Yep, there's on the street that my Bob lives on, there's sometimes you can see 5 or so, those little,
So
they're about
um,
a little bit bigger than that. about
you
2
know,
feet
the talk with the person from Black Earth was some time ago, so I don't quite remember all the details, but they actually come all the way down to the Outer Cape to collect compost. Yeah, right?
They don't now, but if they get 40 customers in a town, they will. They said it's very
So what
helpful
is-
if you get an anchoring institution, you know.
Right, but I'm thinking, do we not have, because we've always composted ourselves, so we don't know. Is there not a place at the transfer station for compost, or was that not able to happen? I don't know anything about it.
There is.
There
There's
is.
So how come we don't promote that instead of a business outside of Boston?
We do promote it, but there's some that don't want to go to the transfer station.
And I think
Yeah.
for businesses, it's
Businesses, yeah, I understand that, yeah.
That's right. It's residential only at the transfer station right now.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Thank you for bearing with the questions and answering them.
We got to take you to the dump, Jai, and give you a little tour.
Well, I have gone on occasion. We're still very protected because it was only last year that I almost croaked, so
Right.
the hospital, so it's like,
Enough
yeah,
said.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah, hi, I'm still here just listening, but I just give an insight on that. Is Black Earth, I believe they were getting affiliated with Mary with Compost with Me. Was that the same? Did they have
yeah,
some type
they
of?
took over her route.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, we can certainly like look into that, especially if the price is better. But at the same time, you know, AJ Watts, who's the farmer that takes our compost now, you know, he was the one that got this all going. So, you know, I'd like to kind of give him some leeway, or at least first refusal, you know, because he was willing to start this up. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So we can always look at the price perspective. I don't know if I can promote a business, especially one that we're not using.
Right.
You know, we do promote AJ obviously because he made it possible.
Does
Yeah,
Black Earth
they-
take, does Black Earth take meat scraps?
yeah,
Oh, they do.
they
Okay.
do.
They also take newspaper,
Mhm.
and what were some of the other unusual things that they take?
Um, Compostable products, you know, single serve takeout stuff.
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, napkins, paper towels.
Yeah, they have the temperature that will handle that.
Right.
I still would like to see what we can help people know that, you know, right here in our backyard, we have things they're not even aware of. So I kind of think in that line too, so.
The LED sign at the transfer station, Mike, has been really effective for the gift wrap, you know, no gift wrap in the recycling, and then the dual stream
Mhm.
advertising. Maybe there could be something, you know, ask us about the residential compost program, or
Mhm,
little something there
Yeah.
to boost that up. Whenever I go, it's pretty full. I mean, it's not full. People are using it. We use
Yes.
it weekly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was obviously a unique year. We're down about 2 tons from last year, but we were kind of getting just over 6 tons a year.
Wow.
And Mike, could you tell me exactly where this goes? Because I could post about this as well.
Sure. So the way our residential food waste compost works is I bring those green toters down to the Dennis transfer station along with several other towns as kind of a satellite point. And that's what makes it worth it for AJ to drive all the way down here and get them. It costs, if I can remember now, $20 a toter to compost. And the whole idea behind this was just to get this off the ground in hopes that it would kind of, you know, go up to scale, and you know, maybe the price would go down. And every ton of food waste that we keep out of the trash is certainly going to help our trash costs. So, but to answer your question too, it then goes to AJ's farm. I know he's got a location in Sandwich and a location, I believe, in Carver, and that's where the composting itself is done, but I've not been there.
Okay. And is AJ this guy's name?
AJ Watts, the Watts family farm.
Okay. WATTS?
Yep.
So Carver is off Cape, isn't it?
They the turkey farm. Is it a turkey farm also?
They did have turkeys. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Um,
Sorry,
they-
Go ahead.
Yeah, they do not do any commercial or residential pickups, as far as I know. I've tried to get in touch with them several times over the years, and they haven't responded. So I think or maybe they're doing it in other areas. I don't know. Do you know, Mike?
He's kind of hard to get a hold of. I don't think I've
Mhm.
actually seen him in several years. I just deal with Chad, who's the transfer station foreman in Dennis. He's the one that makes the calls and kind of organizes that. But
Yeah,
yeah, but just, for him to come out here for 4 buckets once a month wasn't worth the fuel for him. So the idea is to drop it off in Dennis.
right. And that's all the Outer Cape towns, Chris. Carrie had facilitated a meeting with all the Outer Cape towns. Do you know if Truro is doing it too, or do they go to Dave? Oh,
Truro, yep.
Truro too, okay.
How about Provincetown though?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing any of the containers down there. That's interesting because they have curbside pickup.
Mhm.
They do, oh.
I mean, for trash recycling. So I don't know how they deal with
Yeah.
their comp.
And Mike, you said was it last year that we did 6 tons?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact amount of years we've been doing this, 2 or 3, but it's been just over 6 tons of food waste a year. It's been growing, steadily,
Mhm.
but then we have the plague this year, so we shut down for a number of months, and I think the totals to December 31st were 4.4 tons.
Okay.
So Mike, how often do your, what are the size of the toters that you use?
I believe those are 64-gallon toters.
Okay. So how often do your tube fill up?
I mean, it varies, obviously, like everything else around here seasonally. But I mean, this time of year, I could easily go a month, maybe a month and a half. And I usually wait till I get 4 of them full. And that's kind of the capacity of my trailer.
Okay,
And then I bring them down.
gotcha.
Dennis is also the collection point for the processed glass aggregate, for the glass bottles that we're now separating out.
Yes.
Great program. There was a really good article in the Independent, the Provincetown Independent newspaper about that, with Wellfleet leading the way, thanks to Mike.
Well,
Hey.
I will say that
Very scary.
back full stream, all that I've already dumped one of my 20-yard containers full of glass, and it's just all savings of, say, I think $35 a ton by doing it this way now compared to single stream. Oh,
Awesome.
yeah. Plus the trucking, and it makes me very happy to see the glass separated. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's heavy. Okay, so one thing about the Black Earth is, I don't know about this year, but the mass DEP threshold for when commercial businesses need to compost or divert their food waste is going down from 1 ton to half a ton. I think it's in October. So more businesses may, of course, who's enforcing it, but more businesses may be required to divert their food waste. Whether they do or not is another question. But in any case, it was started, we were thinking more about businesses, institutions, schools, and then there's an infrastructure that residents can join in on. I could reach out to Tracy Barry Hunt, because at Winslow's, she talked on one of the compost summits, and she's very eager to work within the Wellfleet business community to promote this. So I'll reach out to her maybe, but maybe we should wait with that until after we do the outreach for the glass or for the bottle, unless somebody else wants to work on it. Thank you, Mike, for providing that info.
Yeah, my pleasure. I do have to run though, so I will see you guys later, but please
Okay.
reach out with any other questions.
Thank you.
Have a good
Anybody have anything else on compost? So energy and climate action, Carol sent an email, a couple of emails to you, Lydia.
Oh, yeah. One was about the battery operated generators rather than fossil fuel operated generators. And she looked into it, and I think she noted that they're not as reliable. But that's something that's probably, as the technology develops, will change.
And,
There is
and
some of-
the capacity apparently is limited too, that it could be like maybe one circuit in your house that it could provide.
I know of a house in Provincetown that's using it on Commercial Street. It
Mhm.
has a battery operated generator.
Right.
Well, maybe it's worth talking to that person just to get a sense of what it's like.
Yeah. I wonder what the capacity is like. Like, I think they usually, you don't power your whole house when you have a generator. Does anybody have one?
No.
Oh, you do. Jay.
Just got it though, and you don't, well, we don't, we just selected essentials, but we only got it installed about 5 months ago.
I see.
So,
Yeah. And that's what I'd heard from neighbors, is that they just do like their refrigerator and their
Water.
it's some major stuff, yeah.
their well. That's a big one.
Yeah, you're well.
And your hot water, maybe, if you have electric. And then Lydia provided in more info about some other stuff, but we can forward her email.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think you did already, didn't you?
Maybe.
Or maybe I just downloaded it from Lydia's. Yeah, could be.
Water bottle refill stations, no change there. Although I will try to find out from Hillary whether refill stations will be accessible this season. And anything else on that?
Well,
Social media posts?
So I've only done 2 this month. This wasn't a great month for me. I had to have a tooth extracted and
Oh,
kind of went wrong, and then the office closed for COVID, and
oh dear.
it was a whole thing. So I've done 2 posts. I did the Discover books, which a lot of people seem to really like, and a lot of people reposted it, which was nice. It seemed like a good one. And then I just did one about plastic mesh bags at the grocery store. But I have a bunch of different things that I can do coming up now, which is good. Yeah.
I had someone say, how come they don't post more with the recycling tips? I said, well, it's a person who has to do them.
Well, if anyone has any ideas, please pass them on.
A volunteer person.
Yeah, but it's nice. We keep gaining traction. We keep gaining more people, and like I said, I really like when people repost it, because then it sort of takes on a life of its own. So that's good.
I did send an email to Rebecca, she's the new executive assistant, Eldridge, to update our website with a link to our Instagram. And then it might be there now. She did it, but I guess it didn't upload or something. So she was going to do it on Monday, but I haven't checked back. In any case, so you were asking, Jai, if you don't have Instagram, if you can still see it. Well, with that link, you just go directly to it, and then you can, so you don't have to have an Instagram account.
I think you still would.
Oh, really?
I do. Just an account. You don't have to do anything with it, but if you just sign up so that you can log in.
Because I have an account that I was able to see it then,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
And what is Discover Books?
It is a company that the Friends of the Library, the Friends of the Library contacted them when it was determined that books were no longer recyclable, which we had been recycling with the papers, mixed paper.
Okay.
So that was a couple of years ago. So they, it's a private company that collects books from libraries and other places, and ones that are in good quality, they resell on their website. Otherwise, they sort of go down the chain of how they can dispose of things, whether it's
Okay.
overseas or wherever. So they make sure that things get either distributed, and then at the end, they'll make sure they get recycled.
I think it
Okay.
was just hardcover books.
No,
because paperbacks
both.
are-
They take both.
It's
paperback-
both. Yeah.
No, paperbacks are recyclable and our mixed paper, they're not? Yeah, they, I thought they were.
No, I think, well,
It was
remember
hard
the-
pages that weren't.
they're Recycle Smart. We'll have to look at Recycle Smart and see what they say.
I thought they were, because I asked Mike when I did the post, and I thought he said paperbacks were recyclable,
Oh,
but Discover Books takes both, and it's nice because Discover Books will first try to make use of them, like
Right.
either through donations or selling them.
okay. Right.
Christine, I just looked on our website. They did add the Instagram link, but they did it in a overly subtle way that I think a lot of people
Oh, they
might
didn't
not
put it
get.
on, I asked her to put it in the blue list on the side. It's not there. You know, there's the blue section with
Right.
links.
Blue section, I'm not seeing.
Sidebar with.
Is this wellfleetrecycles.org?
No, Wellfleet, the town
No.
website.
Oh, the town website, okay. Okay, so Lydia, did you put the link on wellfleetrecycles.org?
Yeah,
I would say something that's Instagram, because if someone doesn't know Instagram, they wouldn't know that icon.
okay.
So I would do that, and it does go, yeah, it does go to it, okay. So the one for town,
I don't see it in the blue section on the town one, but.
so
let's see.
yeah, maybe she hasn't put it in yet.
Contact. She has to add Nancy. We'll ask her to add Nancy as well for the
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
I did in the email. So maybe and also the recycle guide that was up there was from 2018. So I sent her the one that you did, Chris, to
Mhm.
post. But
Okay,
I guess that's not up there either.
yeah.
Um,
And Lydia, when you change that Instagram thing on the website, you might want to put a link to the Facebook page too.
Mm, I really don't like using Facebook.
You know,
I guess it's,
But some people use it, and
yeah.
that's how it keeps being mega. I gotta shut up.
Isn't Instagram already owned by Facebook?
It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
it is.
Apparently, it's not quite as invasive, but you know what's happening. They're capturing a lot of brains.
Well, if we can capture them to recycle better, then let's do it.
I don't know, that's a teeny piece of the huge equation, so.
On the town website, there's also some other things that we need to update. Like there's a plastic ban tab, but there's nothing there. And all of the other bylaws that we've done since the whatever, I can't remember what the last one is. Anyway, there's some other stuff on there that needs to be updated. But
May I ask, back to the Discover books, I'm under the impression, because I've gone through my books, is there now a certain section at the transfer station? I should have just gone and looked, near where we used to put the books for the library to donate. Is there something for
That's-
Discover books near that? I thought so.
It's right in front of the library shed.
Okay, thank you.
It's a big blue bin, and there's a picture of it on Instagram. It's a big blue bin. It says Discover Books on it. Yeah.
I'll see you in person. Thank you. The last couple of times I went, okay, thank you.
Those are books that will be, in good condition, of course. Ones that
Yeah,
can,
They
put
are.
them-
They are, but I think they'll probably go into circulation and taken away sooner than what the library is doing currently, if they're even doing it.
not even
Doing anything.
accepting.
Yeah, I didn't think they
The
were.
shed is completely empty.
Yeah.
Which is good because it's full of mice.
Yeah,
Okay, so community cutlery, any updates, Lydia?
Nothing on that.
And
Yep.
then committee vacancies, we still have 2 alternate openings. So if anybody has suggestions, please pass them along. We have January and December meetings. Had anyone take a look at those?
Yes, I looked at the, I just have the December ones. Did you send the January too?
Yes, January was in the same email.
Oh, well,
Um,
I can propose we accept the December ones, but I haven't seen the January ones yet.
Let me just pull it up real quick.
I'm gonna have to sign off, because it's a bit after 12 and I have a 12 commitment. I don't know
Okay.
if one can hear me. Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you all.
Can you see these minutes that I just put up?
No, I see the recent, it's all of your recent files.
Yes, including turtles and noodles, which I'm intrigued by.
Oh.
Well, the thing that says
Let me
RC
go
minutes
back.
12-1 was the December minutes, as I understand it, wasn't it?
So I thought I was screen sharing, but oh, I know why, because it made it too big and now it's filling my screens.
Ah, okay. There it
You
is.
see it now?
Yeah,
No,
I did.
think you want to
Okay.
close out of that one, like close out and then reopen it.
Excuse me?
I think you probably want to.
Oh, you're still not seeing the January?
No. Do stop
Okay.
share screen and then
Oh,
open
okay.
it and then share screen.
Okay,
You know from experience. it's
that's
fine.
what the problem is. Okay. I think maybe if it's full screen, then it doesn't show up. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, I see. You can select the, okay.
There you go.
That visible? Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. So
Oh, yeah, that's good. No, I didn't have this. Okay.
Nancy joined us, transfer station update, things that we'll do for the bottle ban outreach, Tom's update on the grant. We talked about the town report, updates, and that's it.
Okay, I propose we accept both December and January minutes and
I second it.
And we have a show of hands. Is that one? Just a minute. I now have a different view, so I can't see you all, and I have to.
we've lost Jaya.
We know.
Yeah, she just had to leave. So I just have to make this. Okay, so we have 1, 2,
It's with you.
3, 4, 5, right?
That's Christine, Lydia, Jane, and Nancy.
Okay. I never said anything, which was all those in favor of passing, accepting the minutes for December and January, raise your hands.
We
5-0.
could-
Okay, so accounting report. I finally did dig into the 2020 accounting report and looked at the towns. I'm actually I'm gonna stop sharing and then bring something up again to share because it's pretty confusing. So this is all the different account information and the situation. So this first area here, the budget operating expenses, this is what we get every year and lose at the end of the fiscal year. So we had $1,200 here, and that is why we had decided to give the interns $500 each to use that up before the end of January. But unfortunately, it was taken out of this gift fund, which is what we raised for bottle refill stations and other things. So I've emailed our new accountant mentioning that that was incorrect. The old accountant didn't understand the distinction between this being our operating and these being the money that we raised ourselves for specific purposes that doesn't go away. So he made them all go away. So he gave them back to us and then he left in September. So we now have a new accountant who's very busy trying to balance the books between the old accounting system and the new accounting system, which were not balanced. And it's been a week, I haven't heard back from her. There's some other issues too, one of which maybe I shouldn't mention, but there was a $258 expense that was taken out of the RDP point account, I think DPW, so I don't know anything, what's going on with that. And then there's some other expenses that we don't know what they are. So the other thing I just wanted to bring up was the itemized or the expenses for fiscal year 20. So this is what we spent in fiscal year 20 and the Vistaprint. So this one, we don't know what it is. And Vistaprint, it doesn't appear in the accounts, Lydia. So I don't know if, did you have them paid directly or do you have do you remember how that was handled? You're muted, Lydia.
I think I sent you responses to the $47. That was something that Jane Tesson paid, and it was a company that begins with W. I don't have it
Yeah,
in.
I saw that. Yeah, so I don't think they're in the office now. I think people are working at home.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something that we do have the information on that. And then
Oh,
for
we
the
do?
other.
Oh, you mean the name? Okay.
Yeah, it's in the spreadsheet that with her name on it, or the
Okay.
thing that Jean, the former accountant, provided. And then these things, the Vistaprint, Amazon, Wix. I think the Vistaprint and Wix, those, if they add up to about 258, and I think what was done.
Oh, okay.
And I sent you that as well. So that was because the town doesn't pay sales tax. That's why there was a slight discrepancy
Gotcha.
between like 258 and 239
Okay.
or whatever.
Okay. So those were taken out of a DPW account, which is, we won't complain about. Apparently that 258 is the amount on that last slide that came out of a DPW account.
If you want, I can send you the email again.
No, I'll look at, I don't think I saw the follow-up with that one in it.
Okay.
Okay, and then, so that's resolved, that's good. And then for fiscal year 21, the only expenses we've had so far, actually, I don't have that one handy. I think it's just the chamber membership and maybe there was one other thing that I haven't gotten reimbursements on, so I'll do that. So we don't exactly know how much we have yet, but I think soon we will. And I'm hoping that we can get that $1,000 taken out of last year's operating budget somehow. So that was accounting, correspondence, future agenda items. Oh, one thing, Lydia, the meeting that Carrie is holding, she's holding a Cape-wide recycling town hall with interested parties on February 9th. Have we forwarded that to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So that's next. Everyone's welcome to join that. Anybody have anything else?
I wonder about for a future concern is pay as you throw, and that's been postponed, or decisions I guess is going to take place in March.
In March, yeah.
Whether to delay it, delay it further, or
Mhm.
what to do.
Mhm.
Do you mean in terms of lobbying the Board of Health to restart it, or?
Well, I'd like to know from them maybe what their thinking is.
Do you want to find out when their next meeting is, or?
Sure.
email? I think Mike said what the thinking was when, I think Carol asked about it in the last meeting. People not having to go to stores on necessarily financial hardship. And there was one other one, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Actually, it might be good to talk to the Department of Health. If you can find that out, I would like to bring up, actually, I guess we ought to email Hillary and see if we can talk about the water refill stations.
Mhm.
And if you want to ask about that also to get on the next agenda,
Okay.
that would be great. Thank you.
Another thing about the refill and just water things in particular is, I think the town's going to be cleaning the restrooms rather than having the porta potty contract.
Mhm.
And in the restrooms, are they going to be, cutting down on, say, paper use by having the blowers rather than paper towels, things like that, little things that might make a difference over time.
Do you want to, well, that wouldn't be Board of Health though, would it?
I'm not sure. They probably have some thoughts on it, but DPW also.
I was thinking, yeah, I guess it's DPW. Well, you could include that in what we want to talk about with Board of
Okay.
Health.
I think with COVID that a lot of places are not using blowers and using paper towels.
Oh,
They don't want the aeros, like whatever's.
Yeah, so maybe
Yeah.
until this is under control somehow, someday. Yeah.
good point. All righty, our next meeting is March 3rd. Tuesday, March 3rd. And if nobody has anything else, we are ready to conclude the meeting at 12:14.
Will that
Thank
be
you.
March 3rd or March 2nd?
It's the second.
Oh, it is the 2nd. Thank you.
Yeah,
Very
I was just checking that too.
Thank you. On your walk.
Only 28 days in February.
This
Right.
year, yes.
So can I share one thing with you now that the meeting is officially over?
Absolutely.
So when I had my tooth extracted, they were giving me laughing gas. This is the first time I've ever had a tooth extracted. I was kind of nervous about it. They were giving me laughing gas. I was trying to relax. And there were 5 people in the room with me, like 4 assistants and the oral surgeon.
Wow.
And just as I was starting to feel the effects of the gas, they started a whole conversation about problems with recycling and things that people are trying to ban and the problems with pay-as-you-throw bags. And I tried to, like, they weren't working on me yet. And I tried to say a few things, but like my mouth wasn't really working. My head wasn't really working. Finally, just as they were about to start, I took all of my strength and raised my hand. And I just said, this conversation has to stop now. I cannot hear this while you're doing this to me. You don't understand how important this is to me. The room went silent.
That's funny. It must have been excruciating not being able to put your 2 cents in.
Really, exactly.
Funny. Well, I hope your mouth is doing better.
Much better now. Thank you.
All right, Dee, nice to see everyone. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
you.
Bye-bye.